Okay, uh, this is the first orientation flight. I caught these about 3 weeks ago. She must have laid the same day. So there you go. And so I'm gonna stop feeding these girls pretty soon. And then what I'm gonna do is end up transferring that box right there tonight. So what I'll do is I'll close that box off, that little flap there, because that is Queen right there. So they flew in yesterday. I missed it again. It's so hard to actually catch a swarm as they swarm from their previous box and at a good distance. If they're just going close to another box, they don't do that Frosty the Snowman thing. No, they just kind of mosey over there, right? And that could have been what happened here. I don't know. I wasn't here, right? And so now I have five queen right hives, and so that, from April 1st to present day. So I had one hive that got through the winter, and now there's five. And so I've been showing videos about what to look for when somebody wants to catch a swarm, because they're really subtle things. For several years, I would see these periodically. I would see these bees in the springtime, sometimes in the middle of summer, and they were bouncing around the cracks of the two hives that I had then. They were bouncing, and and they would get to the close, and my bees would attack them. So, and that's what, if I would have known, then what I know now, they were actually looking for a home. And they were actually bouncing for about 3 days. They were bouncing in the cracks of my existing hives. Wherever there was a crack, where there's a double box, there was bees bouncing. That's an early sign, many times, probably the majority of the time. The bouncing around, like these are just looking for a way in. They're not always marauders. And so since I caught this swarm yesterday, there's no more bouncing, zero. They're no longer looking. And there's no more large groups in the baited nuke in the cherry tree, nothing. Dead as a doornail. Yeah, so once those girls swarm out, it's a done deal. Unless there's multiple splits going on in the area. Yeah, there's not likely going to be another one anytime soon. So my goal, I made some videos, my goal was to have 6 hives going into fall. I was going to do a bunch of splits, make some queen cells myself, try to get that 6 hives. Well, I don't think I'm going to have to. Just catching them from nature. Don't have to go through all that process. Just put a box in a tree and walk away. Let nature do its thing. Now, of course, you got to have bees in the area. There has to be not only bees in the area, but healthy. They need to be kind of healthy so that they're growing enough in the spring, actually through the winter. This hive, the one hive I had left, she took off in mid-December. By January, they were begging me for food, clustering me in my garage. For 4 days, I couldn't understand what was going on, because I'd been in my garage. I'd go in my garage all winter, and that was the first day that I've ever had all these clusters of bees circling me. And so, but it took me 4 days. But what I did instead is I put a bunch of baited nukes. I said, "Oh, you're looking for a home?" No, they were looking for food, and they were looking for me. They were coming to me and asking me for it. I just didn't understand their language. And once I got that memo, and I put out a couple of broad feeders, outside feeders in front of the hive, zero. No more large groups of bees circling my body. It stopped probably a couple of minutes. Maybe they smelled it in the air, because they can pick that up, 1 part per billion. And so, yeah, they can pick that sugar up. Oh yeah. And so there it is, 5 hives alive. And so, yeah, there was a big orientation just a few moments ago on the last hive I caught. which is kind of strange, really. That was a pretty good sized orientation flight. In fact, they're still going at it. They're still orientating over there. And that's the hive I caught just I don't even know, I think it was 3 weeks ago. Well, maybe close. Maybe that's why they're hatched out. But yeah, that's an orientation flight. It was a lot bigger a few minutes ago. And there is something really strange going on with this hive right there. I do not know what it is. They are fighting each other all the time. There's a bunch of dead girls all over the ground. I don't see that in any of my other hives, just that one. There is some sort of disagreement going on, and they're really angry with each other. They're just fighting. There's no food. That's a swarm I caught, the first swarm I caught in April, mid-April. And yeah, they're just fighting each other. I just don't understand. And killing. They're actually killing each other at times. Carrying each other. There's one carrying another one away. And here's what I'm starting to think. I have a suspicion, a hunch, right? That's all we got, really, right? Go by the hunches. Just as long as there's not bunches and bunches. And so there might be two queens in there, right? And there's these battling pheromones. I don't know. Two queens. And so, but they're fighting every day, all day long. They just do not like each other. That's going to become one irritated hive right there over time. I might have to take that one out. Take the queen out or something. I've never seen that before. This is my 3rd year doing bees, and I've never seen bees that just hated each other. It's that way every day. Dead bees, more and more. They're carrying each other out, flying away with each other. Get out of here. And they're still alive. Right? I don't know. I'll have to investigate that. Pretty bizarre. Yesterday I pulled the observational panel out of all 3 of these here. So these 3 here, they're the only one. They're the ones that are set up with the observational panel with the 1/8 inch hardware cloth. These 3 here. And I'll be doing that one soon. I got all the gear for that one ready to go. And so tonight I'm going to close that flap, take that one, put it right next to the other one over there. Put some brush in front of it. That way when they come out in the morning, what has changed? And when I did that last time, it was so smooth. Before I had to change transfer boxes back and forth because they would get stuck up in a tree with no box and there'd just be clusters of them in there at night. So yeah, this one was really quick. I don't remember. 24 hours and it was over. Right? So the first night when I put a box up there, when I transferred them over here, that night there was just about a dozen bees that slept in the nuke box. But I brought them out and put them over here in the hive that night. And the next night I did the same thing, 0. So they all got the memo. Less than 24 hours. Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do from now on. I'm going to take whatever hives I got except for this American flag one here. They're all going way back there. Yep. Reorganize, right? So I'll do that in the wintertime. So when they're all hunkered in, no food to really go out and forage for. No orientation flights going on. Close the front entrance. Take them all back there. Rebuild the structure back there for them. I'm gonna build it like the Roman Empire, out of brick. Last forever. And no more wobbly structures. That was just, I didn't have bricks at the time, but I did have a lot of those. I said, I'm gonna make this structure like this and like that, and I knew it was unsafe when I made it, but sometimes we come up with an idea and sometimes it blows up. Yeah, like that rocket. Yeah, the other day. Blew up that whole pad. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Bezos, he's in trouble. So is the moon landing, I guess. Yeah, he was going to be a big part of that. The word was. And so, So far, no bees are accosting me. It's just a matter of time, though. That's as if they're trying to remove a group of bees. Maybe a group flew in there somewhere else, and they're just trying to be accepted. But a lot of them are being kicked out. Gosh, I don't know. And that happens. When bees lose their hive for whatever reason, sometimes they'll go and just try to get in another hive, and sometimes they get accepted. Right? They have to cow down. Please, massa, let me in. And yeah, sometimes they get accepted, and they got themselves a new hive. They absorb that queen's pheromones, and they're just part of the working crew. Yeah, bees are so cool. Are you buzzing me? No? So, yep. The one in the cherry tree is empty. This one's full. So I came out last night, and close to midnight, with a flashlight, with my veil on. Actually, I was all suited up. I put my whole suit on because these girls are much more apt to sting at night than even during the day. I learned that. I don't think I've ever been stung at night, but they're more aggressive. They want to land on me, and they want to sting. They want to touch me so they can sting me, not just buzz me. They're trying to land. And so, big difference. And so, yeah, I had them buzzing me, and I took a flashlight and looked inside there last night, and sure enough, there was a cluster of bees in the center where I had put a couple of frames that had comb on them. I used rubber bands, took odds and ends of comb, and to hold that structure, I put a piece of comb here, a piece there, rubber band man, and then kept them in place. And so they're just going to build around that, and they were all clustered in that comb last night that I had there, because comb is also a really good insulator. You know, they get in between the comb. It's like drywall. You know, you got, you know, there's no empty space like all around. Kind of hunkered in, right? Just got the roof and the floor that's got a hole. And so there it is. And I don't see a bunch of girls dying over here anymore. I did for a long time. They were thinning out the hive when I put some Apiguard and did a sugar shake. I haven't done a sugar shake for so long. Last time I did a sugar shake was the same time that was the same time I put the Apiguard in there. Because of Rheumite count, I can see it going down and down. So after I did the Apiguard and the sugar shake, the next day, within 24 hours, I had about 450 Rheumite. Yeah, I count them one by one. Gotta know. And so, and then that went down precipitously over the days. And I checked all 3 of those yesterday, observational panels. I'm not very, very nominal. I mean, it's like it's hard to tell whether they're just bringing them in a couple now and then, or what. So because it's that time of year when varroa mites are everywhere, on flowers, they're just everywhere. Other bees can't help it. And so it's hard to tell. I had another varroa mite yesterday. It decided it was going to behave like a grasshopper. When I was trying to grab it, it was hopping and running really fast, and I was chasing it around on the observational board with my tweezers trying to grab it. Some of them are very lively, and I'm suspecting those are most likely the ones that were brought in, because they're out there alive and they're fresh and they're ready to jump on another bee, and they got all this energy, and my bee flies in there and it's still kind of trying to find a place, and the other bee bumps it and it falls off and it goes down in there, and there it stays. And that's what's really cool about these observational panels with that 1/8 hardware cloth slew down, and we can always know what's going on. I can actually see where the bees are working. So if I put an empty frame in, there's no work. Oh, they still haven't started working on that frame yet. Jeez. And then I can see when they start working on it. They're starting to see all the Reese's Pieces falling down. And that line is starting to get thicker, you know, they're building it, forming it. Or when I put like cattycomb, just all kinds of different pieces of comb, kind of rubber band it together. I can see if if they're organizing that one, working on that one, trying to get it all straight. You know, I can just see them when they're feeding. So in the winter, particularly, I can see when they're shifting. So they'll feed on this frames here, and I can see when they shift, and now they're feeding here. And then I can see where they're shifted here, and I'm going like, so now I understand what's going on with the food. I can say, oh, they're on their last section of honey. I'm gonna have to start feeding them. Don't even have to take the hive apart. I can know, or they'll come and get me, which I thought was weird. Took me 4 days. I was a little slow on that one. Just didn't know bees do that. Come and get their masters to feed them, like a dog or something, cat. I don't know, an animal, a regular animal. Lions and tigers and bears, oh my, feed me. And so yeah, no active in any of those bedded nukes. Lots up there though. Okay, so tonight it's going over there. Put the brush there. Be right as rain. So I'm going to put a box up there tomorrow night. So I'm going to transfer it tonight, and I will put a box up there in its place tonight. I think. So I think I'll do it just like I did the other one. So they can get used to going back and forth, and they'll recognize, well, the queen's pheromone is only over here. It's not up there. And then the next day, I won't put any box up there until late at night. I'll put one up. What? You want to say something to me? Say no more, say no more. So I think, what? So I think I'm going to stop at 5. Maybe. I mean, if I do catch another one, I'm okay with that. But because you're not supposed to have, it's I don't know if it's supposed to. I don't know if there's like a law. It's just like a regulation. I didn't see anything about any fines or anything like that. It's just they just tell you to get rid of some, and back down to 3. So I can always take a double screen board, put it on top of one of my hives, and then stack another hive on top of it. It'll look like one hive. I could do that like with 3 hives on top. Boom, 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 boom. And in the wintertime, they'll keep each other warm. Share queen pheromones. They can't touch each other. They can't get to each other. They can still go out, leave a little port, for the winter. Each hive, they can still go out and go to the bathroom or find pollen or whatever they can find if they want. It looked like I have one hive, and really there's 3 stacked up. Could I guess if I wanted to. Yeah, so I don't let any more girls buzz me for like 10 minutes. Yeah, so I recommend that also with you. If folks have a hive, want to get a hive, you get one that you just want to chill, watch your bees. I do this all the time, even all through the winter. Come out here and do this when it's not raining or freezing. When it's cold, below 40, they stay in. Nothing to watch. Once it gets around 41, they're out. They're out looking for whatever they can find all through the winter. All winter. Yeah, even in the snow. As long as it's a nice day after the snow and it's nice, it's in around 40 or above. Yeah, they're out seeing what they can find all the time. So, okay, well, I just wanted to give an update that caught another swarm. So, all the bees that I have were swarm caught. I don't have any bees that I bought. Those all died. Their immune systems were just trash. And so these are all caught from who knows where. I got this huge forest in my backyard, right on the other side of that fence right there. Could be some back there, woodpecker holes, who knows what. Could be some neighbors that have some. I think there's one neighbor, he's really an organic guy. He just lets them be. Just he'll do this outside pollen feeding, maybe outside sugar too. I don't know. He feeds wild animals, including neighborhood animals. He's just that kind of a guy. I want to see if anything hungry around here. I got something for you. He's that kind of guy. Kind of a cool thing. You know, if you got that money to feed the neighborhood animals, including whatever ones you have. Oh, there's another orientation flight going on. I was really worried about that if they made a queen over there. There it goes. I don't want to see one too often. That hive was already so big. Oh my gosh, and it still is. I don't want to see one too often. What I want to see is, what's good to see is a swarm, like a couple days in a row, 2, 3 maybe, max 4, and then nothing for 3 to 4 weeks. Just nothing. That's perfect, right? For just a normal backyard beekeeper, you know, somebody just wants a few hives, and they want them to be self-sustainable, so we don't have to put poisons, pesticides, and all kinds of weird things, you know, in there and all that to try to keep those varroa mites at bay. That is an automatic varroa mite controller. If there's no cells for the varroa mites to lay their eggs, because there needs to be an egg in there, you know, and then a larvae for it to feed off of. Otherwise, they don't lay no eggs, right? And if the queen stops cold turkey for 3 or 4 weeks, no eggs, over time, she keeps doing that over and over and over, you can eventually see 0 mites from then on until spring. Those mites get spread around a lot come spring, and a lot of activities, flowers, a lot of mites getting passed around. And so, yeah, so you might see an explosion in spring of that hive when she's making lots of drones. This girl made so many thousands of drones, it was crazy. I couldn't believe how many drones she laid. Like, what? Most of them ended up on the ground after I put the ApiGuard in. They went in and they removed every cell that they can detect that had a varroa mite in that drone cell. And they brought out, I seen all these little white, most of them are already kind of mostly grown, but they hadn't hatched yet. Well, they went in and decapped those drones and pulled them out, and then dumped them right in front of the hive by the thousands. They're still piled up along the bricks over there. I'm gonna be taking I got this big blower, I'm gonna be taking a blower soon. I was just gonna wait until all these peaches are done doing their dropping, and then instead of just cleaning it every day, every other day, doing all this cleaning, then clean again, and I got other things to clean besides roofing panels, shingles. But when there's like a lot of dead bees, I'll sweep that up. I don't like that to stay there. Yeah, there it is, orientation flight. That's the second one I've seen, right there. I like the small ones. I don't like to see the big orientation flights. Small is better. Unless you're trying to grow your hive, have your queen lay lots of eggs. That's the size you want to see right there. Beautiful. Just little. So she's in there laying little patches, little groups of eggs, and they're just hatching out in little groups. About 3 or 4 days to a week, they come out and do that. And this one did the same thing about a week ago, which is perfect. So I don't anticipate seeing another orientation flight, which I hope, for another 2-3 weeks. That's my preference. Yeah, I'm not interested in growing hives big. I mean, of course, you'd get a lot of honey. If someone's like into honey, you want to grow a lot of bees so you can get a lot of honey. Well, then, yeah, you're going to maybe get one of those farm queens. But if you just want to maintain a stable hive without having to do much to them, this is the kind of queens that is best. You don't have to do the varroa mite stuff. Eventually, you'll realize I don't even have to do varroa mite checks anymore. There's nothing in here, and you maybe a check once a month. You know, once a month, see if there's any varroa mites. That's the point I got with this one. I got to the point of saying, okay, I'm not even going to do the once a week anymore because there's nothing there. So I got to the point I was just checking it once a week or longer. Still nothing, right? And so, but sometimes there's like infestations of bugs and stuff. And so sometimes I'll pull a panel just to see if there's like a, not for royal mice, but for other things. Maybe ant infestation or these little black hive gnats get in there by the thousands. See if something like that's in there. Because they'll be chased down and they'll fall through that board. I want to be able to pull all those out so they don't crawl right back in. So I'll keep pulling that out until I've got most of those gnat hive beetles out. Yeah, they ain't much bigger than a gnat. Long bodies, they're narrow, with a hard shell. They look really tiny. They're not the standard hive beetles with the broader bodies. No, these are like skinny like a toothpick. Yeah, head to toe. Never seen them before until last year. They're still doing orientation. Hope they don't do it too long. So I've had that one orientated today, that one orientated today. That's good. That one orientated a couple days ago. This one a week ago. So in the last 7 days or so, all these hives have had orientation flights where, whoa, you're awful aggressive. All of a sudden, I think she was just trying to fly by, and she didn't. She might have flown by this exact path a number of times. She just, autopilot. But I was here. She goes, "What's this here?" I've had that happen so many times. They're not trying to buzz me or anything. They just, maybe they're blinking or too long, or they're just not paying attention, and they just remember the pathway. They're kind of like driving. You ever drive? Of course you have. When you're just kind of in a zone, you can see subconsciously, you can see the road and everything, but you're in la la land, thinking about so many different things. You just stay between the lines. Well, that's what I think happens. They just stay between the lines. What's this? What? Kind of like you're driving along and someone all of a sudden jumps out in front of you and you hit it because you weren't paying attention fully, when you could have slammed the brakes and missed it, possibly, or swerved around it or something. Okay, well, I just wanted to drop a line update on the swarm. So, catch a swarm, get some lemongrass soil, get yourself or build yourself some sort of a nuke kind of a box that can be made of all kinds of different things. It needs to be, recommend wood. They just like wood, especially cardboard. I had one sticking out of the window, and I had cardboard as the base, and I had cardboard as the roof, with other wood packed in between, underside and on top of the cardboards. And those girls just like to hang out in there. There was no swarm or nothing going on. They would just go out, they would just hang out in there every day. Not lots of them. Maybe they like the smell of the cleanness, the sterileness of the cardboard, right? I don't know. They just really liked it. It was like their getaway or something. But I took it out of the window. I needed the space in the garage where it was. So yeah, still orientating there. That one's done orientating. These girls are killing each other. I don't know why. Those girls are on a 3-week break. And there's a queen right nuke in the peach tree. And that's my day. Oh, I just picked, I don't know how many hundreds of peach cherries. Getting on the roof. I get on the roof with this long, I don't know how many feet that doggone thing is. I think it's more than 12 feet. Might be 14 feet. Cherry picker. It's a swimming pool. It's for cleaning swimming pools. It had a screen on the end to clean swimming pools. Well, I took that screen off and I put on a cherry picker. Well, a fruit picker. It'll pick my peaches, apples, any other fruit from a tree. So I don't have to use a ladder. And so I've been up in front for hours before doing this video. Up on my roof, because I can get good angles on my roof because the tree's right there and it kind of overhangs the top of the roof a little bit. It's just kind of picked from the roof. A roof cherry picker. And plus I picked all around the bottom too. So, yeah, that's why I'm sitting here. I'm taking a break. It's kind of leaning over. Yeah. Then tonight, when my day is over, they're soaking in the fridge right now in a big bowl of water. And I'll sit there and watch a movie, take a chopstick, poke one, take the stem off, put it in a different container, poke the chopstick in, pop the cherry out. That goes in, the seed goes in a junk bucket, the cherry goes in a bowl of water so it don't get oxidized. Because they don't taste good in my opinion. It's best to just pop those cherries out and immediately put them in, submerge them all the way in water. And you don't get that oxidation brown, kind of I don't know, not a good taste flavor, right? Oxidized flavor. Kind of like those apples, you know, and you leave them out too long, they start to turn brown, or bananas, or oxidation kind of thing. And so by doing that, then I strain them, rinse them, then rinse them again. The final is rinse. And then I have these big, huge sheets that have little edges. Spread them out on that, throw them in a vacuum sealing freezer, sucks the air out, and it's called quick freezing. I got cherries to munch on for until next year. I've got so many this year because of the bees. The bees did a really good job pollinating that cherry tree for the first. Well, last year was pretty good. This year was even better, probably because I have more bees. I don't know. That hive that I had, it was so packed, and they were up in that cherry tree. Yeah, so I had, that cherry tree got heavily pollinated. I got these big, huge clusters of cherries on one little clump, you know. Yeah, that used to be rare, and so yeah, lots of cherries for the next 12 months or so, as long as I don't make a pig of myself. Sometimes I do that with cherries. I'm gonna have these every night. What happened to all the cherries? Gotta kind of like disperse it out a little bit, you know. Oh, they're up there fanning. Yeah, that little box, it's gonna get hot up in there. Yeah, I look forward. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that hive down tonight, close that flap, put it there, put some brush in front of it tonight. Fully suited, by the way. And then tomorrow morning, I'll take these feeding trays from these girls here and put it with this hive up here, so they can start really building up that comb, starting to feel really safe. Like, oh, I got plenty of resources. Because right now, the only resources they have in that hive that I can give them, I can't give them anything actually. The only thing they can bring in now is just whatever might be out there, flowers. That's it. That's the only food source they're bringing in. And that's going to slow down their process. So that's why I want to get them down there as fast as possible, get them some food as fast as possible, get that hive growing fast as possible. In about 7 days, transfer them into a full-size brood box. Party's over. All right, please subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, leave a comment, click the like, and you have a good day. Bye now. You hear? Still dreaming of that genie. Good day.